Cameron confesses his love from the bottom of the Mariana Trench. James Francis Cameron is a filmmaker, explorer, and real enthusiast from Canada. Cameron is known to the general public mainly for his movies. To his credit are The Terminator, Judgment Day, the once highest-grossing movie in history, Avatar, and the iconic and Oscar-winning Titanic, a movie based on one of the biggest maritime disasters in history. Birthday at the bottom of Lake Baikal. Despite numerous merits in the film industry, Cameron has never limited himself to the screen and has always strived to get to know the world for real, to reach and explore the unknown. For example, the director celebrated his 56th birthday, not somewhere, but at the bottom of Lake Baikal. August 16, 2010, he descended there with a team of scientists on board the deep-sea vehicle Mir-1. Moreover, in preparation for filming Titanic, Cameron repeatedly dived into the Atlantic Ocean, where the ship is buried, on a similar apparatus, Challenger Abyss. In 2012, in partnership with the National Geographic research community, James Cameron dived into the Challenger Abyss, the deepest section of the Mariana Trench, where he reached a record 7 meters underwater. Diving to the bottom of the Mariana Trench has been a long-time dream of Cameron's. To realize it, the director and explorer independently designed his own bathyscaphe, which was named after the trench itself, Deep Sea Challenger. It took just over 7 years to design and build, but even after numerous inspections and test dives, the team didn't know if the bathyscaphe could withstand the water pressure at a depth of nearly 100 meters. To find out the answer to this question, James Cameron risked his life. The dive to the bottom of the depression took about 6 hours. Most of the way, the device with James Cameron inside was moving to the bottom at a speed of 1.8 meters per second. By 10:30 a.m., Deep Sea Challenger reached the deepest point of the world ocean, and James Cameron began the research part of the mission, soil collection and videography. Here's what Cameron says when he reaches the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Dry land. This is the Deep Sea Challenger. I'm at the bottom. It's all right. I could have prepared some pathos phrase for this moment, something like, one more small step taken by man. But I didn't have a phrase prepared. The mission to dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench is an astonishingly risky idea. The extremely high pressure could have unpredictable effects on the bathyscaphe and other instruments. If the hull of the apparatus gave a microscopic leak at a depth of 8,000 meters, the water would literally shoot out with a force equal to a laser beam capable of cutting through the steel walls of the cabin. Not all the mission went smoothly, but by the time the bathyscaphe was at the bottom, its last engine had failed, the compass and sonar had also failed, and the batteries powering the apparatus were running low. However, the ballast release mechanism worked as expected. A few hours later, James Cameron was on the surface. Here's how the filmmaker and researcher himself talks about this mission.
To think, all similar machines were made as part of large-scale, government-funded programs, and our little green torpedo was built privately, in a mall space sandwiched between the plumbing wholesaler and a plywood pavilion on the outskirts of Sydney. This project came about through the enthusiasm of dreamers who believed they could do the impossible.
Titanic. Director James Cameron is going to make a TV series about the Titan bathyscaphe. James Cameron is in talks with a major streaming network to create a drama series about the Titanic bathyscaphe that sank during the dive to Titanic. This is reported by The Sun. Sources of the publication assure that the streaming network appealed to the director, who 30 times dived to the Titanic, with a request to shoot a series about the wreck of the bathyscaphe in June. The list of candidates for participation in the project includes actors Matt Damon and Kumail Nanjiani. Recall, the bathyscaphe Titan crashed on June 18th when descending to the sunken Titanic. Under the water column, the hull of the ship collapsed, and all the people died instantly. On board were OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, British businessman Hamish Harding, members of one of Pakistan's richest families, Shahzad and Suleiman Dawood, and Paul Henry Narziol, an ex-French naval officer.
National Geographic, as a society, believe in science and believe in exploration. They also actually believe in the underlying mission, which is to push back the boundaries of the known world, you know? And that's what this expedition is all about. The deep trenches, what they call the hadal depths, below the abyssal depths. Like if an abyss isn't deep enough, you can go to the hadal depths, are very poorly understood by science. They're really the last frontier of exploration here on planet Earth. We know very little about the species that live down there. We know very little about the distribution of the biological communities. We don't know how these animals have adapted to living under this unbelievable pressure that exists down there, 7 miles down at the bottom of the ocean. Look, imagination feeds exploration. You have to imagine the possible before you can go and do it. We have to go because we don't know it.